Rightio, so we're up to making the gears on this build. So this is the first one we're going to make. It's a 15 tooth pinion gear. It's got an M8 thread on the end, M8 by 1, small keyway. This gear is only about 11.9 major diameter, so she's fairly small. I've got the material in the lathe, a bit of 1045, sorry. I'll turn this end first, and then I'll spin it around and hold it in a collet on this end, and then turn the gear blank and bring it to final length. Okay, so I've faced it off and centre drilled the end. So this first diameter down to 8mm has to be 29mm long. Okay, I just changed out to a TNGG insert on this material and I'm getting a much better finish. So I'll get a dimension on that and then bring it down to 8mm. Spot on 9mm there. At 0.05 over 8mm, which that has to be 7.99. I think it's an F something tolerance. F8 tolerance is 0.797 to 799, so I'm just going to polish that last little tiny bit off. Okay, I don't know how good that camera angle is, but that's down to dimension. Now 19.5mm from this face back, I've got to put a 1.5mm wide groove, half a mil deep. Righto, that's in. Just got to break them little edges with a little needle file and got to thread this 8 by 1. That is it. So this can be turned around now and bring it to final length of the whole shaft and do the gear down to diameter, major diameter. Okay, I've got this shaft to final dimension or final length. This has to be turned down to 11.9. That's a major diameter of the gear. And then 5.8mm in from this end face has to be turned down to 6mm. .9. There we go. That's our gear blank done. Spot on. There's our gear blank. Got no idea how I'm going to hold it now. So you've seen me make this gear blank. Now I set the rotary table up I was too close to the collet to be able to cut the gear, so I stuffed around as you do, and I thought I'll make up an extension which is threaded at the back, reamed 8mm, and I thought I'll make an extension. So I can screw in there now. Anyway, that's screwed in, locked up, put it in, but for some reason I was getting about 0.06, 0.07, maybe 0.08. I can't remember what it was now. But it was out. It wasn't going concentric, so it had a wobble in it. So I thought, stuff it. I made up a whole new one, and when I've cut the teeth, then I will go back. I can hold it by this diameter here in the collar chuck, and then do the features, bring the gear to length, and then do the features on that feature on the end there. So I'm all set up. It's pretty easy to index this one. It's just 6 full turns on any hole pattern. The depth of the tooth is 1.57mm deep, running at about 115 RPM on the spindle. That was pretty uneventful. So go around 6 full turns. Okay, so that was the last tooth. So index another 6 full turns, and hopefully it doesn't cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Couldn't have asked for much better than that. It lined up bloody beautifully. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like that. So what I've done here, I've turned it around. I've just take that little nipple off the end. But I've got that gear section hard up against the face of that collet. So I've touched off on that and zeroed the DRO, and I have to come back 13.8mm to that's the end of the shaft. And that is to length. That's it. Okay, now it has to have a 10°, just roughly a 10° taper on the edge of them gear teeth. I have already done the other side off camera before I turned it around. That's what it looks like. What this does need is a keyway in here. That won't be done yet until I get the vise set up on the mill. After I take the rotary table off later, because I'm going to do the matching gear to this first while the rotary table's set up. Okay, off camera I've gone ahead and machined up the blank for the 39 tooth gear. Now between the ratio this will give us will be 2.6 to 1, or I think it is, or 0.038 per revolution. I've got everything set. I think I'm right to go. I didn't show machining the blank because it's just plain turning. It's just got a round 8mm bore in it. Okay, we've done a full turn, index once more, and everything should line up just right. 1, 2. We've landed back on the starting hole. That turned out perfect. I've just given that a quick clean up with some brake cleaner. Not looking too bad. Just hope I've got all the clearances correct. What we got here is some little bushes, bearings. So they're bought ones. This one's a straight one, this one's a flange one. I already have pushed one into this side. This one here goes in the opposite side. So a good little job for the arbor press. She's in. Could go down just a fraction further. I might just have to get something just to knock that one down a touch. Try and get this one started straight. That one's in. We're up to putting the keyway in this little pinion shaft. So I've sent it up, I've got my depths and everything set. I've got the little key here. It fits in. Rightio, so off camera I have gone ahead and made a few of the smaller bits, like these nuts. Just straight turning. Got a set screw goes in each side. There's two of those. This little thin washer, spacer. The two keys, and these 4mm set screws, they've got a little 2mm hole drilled in the end of them. I wasn't going to waste footage trying to just film all these little small bits. That's just pretty easy straight turning. So this gearbox can go together now, and then this side of it's finished. Then I've just got to work on the clamp that goes around the quill. Okay, a little key goes in here now. It's going to be fiddly to put in. That's in. Now this gear goes in. Now, these nuts here, these have a set screw put in them, and I'm going to use a piece of filament off the 3D printer. It goes in the end, which go down, they push down onto the thread so you don't mar up the thread, and it locks the nut in place. So I've got to cut a couple of bits of that. That just gets screwed on. Okay, that's locked in. Now, this little spacer, you can see it's got a little 1/2 inch lip on it, or 1/2 mil lip, sorry. Goes towards the gear. Sits in there. Orientate it around so it's easier to put the keyway in later. And then cover goes on. Gets screwed on. Along the outside of the casing. All looks neat. This cover will come back off again, and I'll put a little bit of grease in around them gears later. So now this little key goes in here, which is fiddly. Got that little key in there. Now the star wheel goes on. Not flick them out of the way. Now this nut goes on. There it is together. It's definitely a lot slower than what it was when it was 1:1. Just like that little set screw up on that keyway on the star wheel. It is all together. Like I say, I'll take it apart again and put a bit of grease in there later on. I just wanted to get it all together and make sure everything was going to fit and turn, and everything's done up. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now there was a few comments about having all this weight hanging out the side. If that does become an issue, there is room here that you can bolt a weight on if it does become a problem. You know, you could drill a hole in there and then put a piece of steel on there. Yeah, machine up a little block, bolt on there, counteract the offset weight, but just going to see how it goes. Anyway, that's that part complete. Okay, I've just touched off. I've got to take this down 18 mil because we've raised the height of the star wheel, and then re-drill and tap these 3 holes back into place. So. Okay, I got that decked off. I had a visitor turn up while I was halfway through that, and I just didn't bother filming the last bit of it, but it was just straight turning it off. So I've indicated found centre, and I was lucky enough I still had 3 dimples from the existing holes I'd done here, so don't have to centre drill, I'm right on them. This can come out of here now and then put it all together and see what it looks like. See if I've done it right. Rightio, I've got it all back together and I've been playing around with it, done a few test cuts, and so far I'm pretty stoked. So I'm going to dial in a 0.3 depth of cut and let it feed out and show you how it does. Rightio, I don't know how good you can see that DRO, but I put a 0.3 on. 0.35 will do. And I'll keep the camera going so you all know I'm not trying to pull your leg. Start it, put it into gear and see what happens. And just keep in mind that is a Chinese import, or just an import insert. There's about 80mm will stick out. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty good finish. So to get it to all I've been doing when I've been fiddling around with it is I just put it into reverse now. Reverse the feed and let the tool feed back across. It shouldn't cut anything because it's a pretty rigid bar. It hasn't been cutting anything on the back when I've been feeding it back, so As you can see, it must be fairly rigid, it's not cutting nothing, and it's still sitting on 0.35 depth of cut, so nothing seems to be moving. I'm pretty happy with that. That's in a bit of chrome bar, so it's either 1045 or possibly 4140. There's no complaints there. This is the only tool I've got for it. I've got to fiddle around and make up a couple of different tools, I guess. So overall, it's a pretty good result. I still have to make up another one of these pegs for here. I stuffed one up when it used to be 1-to-1, when it was a bit savage and I broke one. So I've got to make up another one of those. I'll do all that off camera. But it works. That was the whole idea, to see if this theory would work, and it does work. It goes in and out of gear easy. So, good result. I don't know what you guys think of that, but I reckon that's a pretty good, successful win. It works. That was the whole idea, was see if it will work in both directions. Like, it feeds in one way and you can feed it back. And like I say, when I get some different tooling made up, I'll be able to test it a bit more, obviously, and yeah, see how it goes when it's feeding back the other way towards the centre. But overall, I am pretty stoked. Like, I never thought I'd be able to build something like that, and having that reduction in the gearbox, or having the gearbox on there, it hasn't thrown the weight out that severe. Like, the mill's not vibrating, it's not bouncing across the floor, but it works. So I will give you guys an update on the plans when they're all finalised, and I'll let you know how you can get a copy of the plans, and possibly a fastener kit too, so which will include all the set screws, ball detents, everything you need, the shoulder bolts, yeah, everything you need to build one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I've thoroughly enjoyed this build, and certainly been an adventure. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and see you after. Hooroo.